Hi everybody. Few of you guys asked me to do this tutorial, so here it is. How to get a GPS location from the Android device. First, let's see our main resource layout file. As you can see, I have two views, a button and the text view. When we click on the button, it will initialize a location service and print out the result into the text view below. Okay, go to the manifest file and make sure you implement these permissions. They will ensure the best location precision. Then go to main activity and first declare our views, button and the text view. Now, in order to access location services, we need an instance of location manager. Also, we need to implement a location listener that will listen for location changes. First, reference button and text view with find view by ID method. After that, initialize a location manager by typing location manager, and then because it is a system service, we need to call getSystemService method. In the constructor, we need to enter the type of the service we are requesting. We need to access location, so let's type location service. After this, initialize a location listener, like so, and don't forget semicolon at the end. So as you see right now, there are four methods that are associated with this listener. We are interested in the first one and the last one. The first one is onLocationChange method, and it is called whenever the location is updated. The last method checks if the GPS is turned off. So in that method we can actually write a new intent that will take user to the settings panel where he can enable GPS settings for the application. One more point, we are compiling this in SDK version 23, so we will have to check for the user permissions at the runtime and according to them enable or disable services. If the version is lower than 23, we won't ask for permissions because they are already included in the manifest file. Now let's see how can we actually make a location request. Let's type location manager dot request location updates. Now let's see parameters. First is provider. We are using a GPS service, so just type GPS with quote marks. Min time represents the refresh interval. How often should it refresh? It is represented in milliseconds, so if we want to choose like 5 seconds, we will type 5000. Then we have a min distance. It is like a second trigger. If it is greater than 0, then the location will update when the location has changed by at least min distance meters from the previous location. So for example, let's say we put it on 5, that means the listener will be called only after we have moved physically 5 meters from the previous location. In the case we are standing in place, listener won't be called in this case. But if we set min distance to 0, then the location will be updated in our case every 5 seconds, because we set it like that with the previous parameter. And the last parameter is just our location listener. Now as you see, it turned red. It is giving us error, but it is just an error for permission check, so Alt plus Enter to fix it and add this permission check for the SDK version 23. Then Alt plus Enter again here and implement this condition. So now we have condition that if we are running SDK23, we will check for the permission, otherwise we will just continue configuration for our button. So let's type configure button here and create this method. Copy the location manager request and paste it into this method. Now let's handle the user permission. Type in request permissions, then new string array, and remember that we had 3 user permissions from the manifest file, so we must include them here. Then like so. Then the second parameter is a request code. It is just a simple integer, and it is an indicator for the permission. We can type any number we want. Let's type 10. Now after we ask for permissions, we need to handle their results. Results are stored in a method called onRequestPermissionResult. So implement this method and we will simply switch the parametered request code and put a new case with the request code 10. That is the code that we have just previously entered. Now we check if the permission is granted, then call configure button method. Let's just finish this configure button method. What we want in this method is to just set on click listener for the button, so that when we click on it we start a location request. Now when the request is sent, method in which the location is updated is the first method in location listener. So in there we will append our text view with the location coordinates. So get a longitude and latitude. If the GPS is disabled, we will create a new intent and send user to the settings panel to enable the GPS service. So create a new intent with the parameter named settings.action location source settings. After that, start activity. Okay. That's it. I tested this on my phone as well as on the emulator. First we will see the emulator that is running Android SDK version 23. As you see, application asks for the permissions. Allow. Now we can't get the location from the emulator, but it can be emulated. So we'll go to the device monitor, then emulator control, and here I can basically manually set the location update. So you see, when I click send, we are sending like location update to the emulator. And as you see, we are getting a result. Now this is from my real phone that is running Android 5.1. When I clicked on request location, it took me to the location settings because the GPS was turned off. I enabled it, went back, pressed the button again, and it was working properly, updating every 5 seconds. If you have some video requests, please write them in the description or on Facebook, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.